If you are in Lusaka and you drive around the traffic lights at Mandahill, at times you find two ladies with small babies with a story that they have just been discharged from hospital and they need a bit of money for transport of food. If you don't know them, you give them. Later in the day, you find the same women with a change story now that they are going to the hospital and they need money to go to the hospital. This is what this budget is, Madam Speaker. I don't think that is intended to move the economy as they are purporting. It's intended to siphon money from members of the public. And I'll seek to demonstrate that. A budget ought to be coherent, it ought to be consistent, and it ought to be very serious. Because it is basically made of figures, so the words must start with figures. Madam, inconsistent number one. At global level, the Minister of Finance is saying the driving forces are Brexit and the prolonged negotiations between the USA and China. At regional level, the minister is saying other things. When it comes to Zambia's situation, he says it's climate change. Economies are systems. What affects the global ultimately will affect the economy like Zambia. So, if in America where they have had hurricanes and hurricanes, the driving forces is not climate change, how come in an economy like Zambia, the driving force of Zambia's economy is climate change? Assuming that was true, that the issues are around climate change, why is it that there's a reduction in the money that is being allocated for environmental protection from the averaging of 1.1, 1.3, 1.1 between 2008 and now it has gone to 0.6? There's no consistency here with what you are purporting to be the problem. If the problem was in the environment and other issues, why haven't you allocated more money there? You are not consistent. What you are saying and the figures you are putting here are different. Conduit to siphon money from the public. While on one hand you are saying, no, these taxes we have reduced here. You read paragraph 146, I think, almost at the conclusion there. The Minister of Finance is saying is going to increase the non-tax revenue. What that means is, madam, it's like you hire a person to come and install DSTV dish at your house. In the day they put it and in the night they come and steal it or remove it. What you are calling non-tax revenue, basically you are talking about increasing fees and the other charges that you're going to charge the Zambians. Tomorrow we are going to wake up and you're going to say, the toll gates we have increased by so much, this we have increased so much, when you want to go and get an NRC we have increased so much, when you want to change your passport we have increased so much. Those are non-tax revenues. Speed traps, change of ownership of vehicles, etc. So what have you done to the Zambian people? You have removed the money out of their pockets. You should have been open enough to specify which non-tax revenue you are adjusting to raise this amount. Because it's not a very huge, small amount, it's a very huge amount. So what are you adjusting? Should have been open enough from the beginning. Madam, they are telling us that the pressures are because of the change in the price of oil on the international market. A few years ago, there are leaders in PF, cabinet level and president level, who went to Saudi Arabia. And they told the Zambians when they came back as a justification for that trip, that they are going to bring oil at a price of 5 kwacha landed cost here in Zambia per liter. This is few years down the line, that fuel has not come. And those who understood how commodity markets work, we told them that this is not possible. Oil is not bought like you go with an empty container, you arrive in Saudi Arabia and say, I'm president of Zambia, as if you are buying katata or gankata. Those are local drinks, madam, that we use to. This is regulated by the commodity markets. We know that these prices are there. And even now, if you go and Google, you find what the price of fuel is. We could not understand how the whole government can go there and arrive and say we are from Zambia and we need the cheap oil. Siphoning money from the public, making us believe that this budget will change anything. It will not change anything. Among the measures that the Minister of Finance should have been talking about in the area of oil, for example, should have been the measure they are taking to stabilize the flow of oil and also possibly the prices. Among the things that as UPND would do to stabilize the prices, the one would be to deal with the issues of financing for our procurement. We would not be going to expensive sources like the PTA Bank and others to borrow money to procure petroleum products. Because by that time our government will be trustworthy and people will be willing to put money, and we're going to build a fund for that. We should have been talking about improving Tazama. That thing was done by a long time ago by UNIP. We should have been talking about increasing storage capacity in the nation. We should have been talking about transforming Indeni into a proper refiner, not a separator, where you import proper crude oil and come and do the refinery, as opposed to commingling, which you are doing now. Those are the issues. Madam, they are saying they have been running an industrialization strategy. From 2001, we have heard this story of the industrialization strategy. And they are telling us now that the achievement is in cement, is in detergent, and in honey. Madam, to run an industrialization strategy based on the bees in the bush making honey for you. 8 years you have been in government and you are still relying on the bees to produce honey which you are going to correct. Even there again, things are not adding up. If you want it to be correct in honey, they are who told you that the bees want to give you for free. Your investment is in aquaculture, where you put money. You have not put money in anything related to beekeeping. You are saying you are going to do cages, you are going to put money in aquaculture. Even the reduction in terms of taxes is only on aquaculture equipment. But in the meantime, you are saying you'll be correcting honey from bees in the bush. Where is the money that you are going to use to supplement beekeeping or bee farming so that it can drive your industrialization? In any case, once you start going back from mining, from manufacturing, now you start going to bees. It tells you that your industrialization strategy from day one has failed. You cannot manage now and you are panicking. That's why you can talk about things you don't even have control, the bees in the bush. In any case, madam, if human beings are failing to produce food for themselves because of climate change, who says that the bees are interested in producing honey for PF to be exporting under the same conditions that human beings are failing? Serious problems, madam, in this economy, that we expected the extraordinary measures by the Minister of Finance. The President came here and said for this economy to make sense, it must be running around growing around 7% GDP. The Minister of Finance is talking about 3%. Now, if from about 2011 to now, all you can still continue talking about is about 3%, and the blame is on climate change, meaning that the failure, and principally one crop has failed as a result of this drought effect. It's maize. So you are saying the maize alone has moved our GDP from 6.8 or whatever estimates you had to 3. It's around 2 now. So, if therefore you are saying for this economy to make sense, the growth must be around 7%. Tell me what 2% is. Is it not an indication of failing or something that is failing? And also when your economy is highly reliant on raw materials, everything that changes in a season just because of a season, your economy is disarray. Doesn't it tell you that your industrialization from 2011 to date, because this is about 8 years, has been a total flop or failure? There's no consistency in what you're telling us. So, this budget, madam, is just meant to provide for means of collecting money from the public, as opposed to achieving anything meaningful. Though the minister